Hey guys, Ronin here. Welcome back to the Retrocade. It is Friday. Hope you're having a safe and happy start to your weekend, wherever you may be. As always, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell for the latest content. As we are carrying on here with our first time playthrough of the 1994 Super NES classic Final Fantasy VI. Couple other house cleaning things to take care of before we get underway this Friday. Be sure to check out Sports Saturday tomorrow, where we will be continuing on with our series of one-day playthroughs through various sports games across the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. Not going to tell you which game we're playing, but be sure to check it out if you're interested. And also, our Sucker Punch Sunday features, where I choose a fighting game, again from those same 4 generations, and give it a whirl. We tried King of Fighters 94 last weekend. That didn't go as planned. At least not on my end, so we'll see what we can do this week. But again, Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday, check those out here on the Retrocade. I will have those posted accordingly. Also, in the comments below, if there's a game that you would like to see me feature here on the channel, from the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 2, leave it down below. And don't be shy. Pick a game. Any game. I'm not really choosy about which ones we're going to try out. And of the hundreds of games I've played over 40 years now of being a gamer, there's thousands more I've never tried, which is part of the reason why I want to start this channel. So, at worst, you will see me make a complete and utter ass of myself for 30 minutes out of your day. Worst things to be doing. So, and you also get to see a game that you may have known or have familiarity with, highlighted again here on the channel. There's a lot of games that I see on a lot of different channels every day, but there's a lot more that I remember that I don't see anybody really get into. So again, this channel is all about the history of video games across the golden age from about 1984 to just about 2000. So there's a whole plethora of things to choose from. I promised I'd get that word in at some point. So leave it down in the comments below. Also, I do have some questions that I've gotten so far from people that I will probably get into. But before we do, let me recap where we were at. We are in the second side quest as we've gotten Locke the Thief. And we've been able to go and rescue a new playable character in Celes the Rune Knight. We just rescued her at the end of the last episode. I don't know what she's able to do yet. But I do know that having more than one person in this party, I think, is going to be helpful. So, I think I'm going to swap out a couple of things here really fast. But now we have to get out of this building, which we've been in before. We are back in the city of South Figaro, and we are in the basement of the wealthy patron's house. And we did find out that he had ratted out the our party and caused the invasion by Kefka and his forces. And as we wind the clock spring, we find we have a secret door. So now we've got to get Locke and Celes out of the city. We've got iron armor, which we've already gotten some. We've purchased some in the last episode during our trip. And, ooh, these things hit like a mule, despite being hounds. I don't like the fact that we're having to use MP already, but if we're going to be able to get out of here, as one of the hounds has decided to bail. Speaking of, how are we doing? We've got 776 gil. And Celes is a level 12 character, whereas Locke is still only level 10. So hopefully we can pump him up. Not sure what that did. But again, the hounds have decided to run off. So it looks like if we take one of them out, the other one will just decide to bolt. Okay, so we're going to have to go around to get to those chests. It looks like one of them is open. Large shield. Ooh, great sword. Let's see, who can we give this stuff to? Now, I kept the air knife on Locke, even though the main ghost gives him more speed and better evasion. The attack drops off considerably. Whereas with a great sword, she goes up a bit, and gotta give her a shield. That will help. And now the question is, where do we go from here? And the other hound will again run off. So as I said at the top, I have gotten some questions from viewers so far, and thanks for all of you who have decided to tune into this pokey little channel of mine. And I will just go ahead and start with the first one, which is, Ronin, what is the first video game you have ever played? First, the crazy thing that when I think about it is you have to go back all the way to 1981, which is 40 years ago, which makes me officially ancient. First video game that I remember playing as a kid was Donkey Kong for the Colecovision. There we go. Now we found our way through. The Colecovision was one of those short-lived video game systems that came out in the early 80s along with the Atari 2600. It was meant to be a competitor for the 2600. But because the 2600 was the big dog on the block, other competing systems like the Intellivision, which is another system I grew up with, that was one my grandparents had. But we had a friend of ours in the small town in Massachusetts where I grew up who had a ColecoVision. And he had Donkey Kong on it. And we would make it a point to go over to his house. And I will never forget his name, Ryan Fitzmaurice. Big, tall drink of water of a guy. And we would play Donkey Kong as much as humanly possible. And the great thing about that game was, like the Neo-Geo, geez, 20 years, almost, well, 10 years later, the ColecoVision at the time had the power to do straight one-to-one ports of arcade video games. So the version of Donkey Kong that we got to play was the version of Donkey Kong, which is part of the reason why we liked it, and the other reason why was because it was freaking Donkey Kong. Now, it doesn't suggest that I was ever really good at it. I was okay, but I was also all of 3-4 years old. How good is a 4-year-old going to be at a game like that? Another game that he had was Zaxxon, which to this day is a game that if I ever go into a classic arcade and I see it, I'm making a beeline for it. And it was it wasn't even a 2D, and it wasn't a 3D. It was a diagonal perspective, so I guess you would call it like maybe 2 3/4 D design, where and it was kind of a bullet hell type game before you had to worry about bullet hell. but it was a space combat action flight game. And I wanted to play that more than I did pretty much anything else. Again, being 4 years old, I just wasn't good at it. So let me see here. Now that we've gotten out of Figaro, we need to figure out where we're going next. So it looks like we need to go back to Figaro Cave, which, if I recall, is this way. Looks like we are fighting Psycho Squirrels and another Spanner. But my brother, who was really into video games along with me at the time, but he was huge into sports games. So when we would go over to my grandparents' house and play on their Intellivision, he would play football, and my grandfather was really into golf, so they would play video golf, which I don't know why I still find it interesting to play years later, but I do. I'm just weird that way. But yeah, those were the early games I played, and then I didn't get a Nintendo Entertainment System until, I think, 1986, 87. So I've been around for a little while. And by that point, I was starting to play Mario Brothers and Zelda and all those games. Which leads into the next question of, what is your favorite video game of all time? Honestly, I look at that in the same way I try and determine what my favorite movie of all time is, or what my favorite music of all time is, or my favorite book of all time. I kind of have to look at the calendar and what day of the week it is, and the position of the sun, and determine, okay, what am I in the mood for right now? Because it is so subjective. And that's not to say that there isn't at least one game that stands out for me, but I like to think of it more in terms of, okay, if I had a Mount Rushmore to do, because trying to put it down to one game out of 40 years of playing is nigh on impossible. And I'm not saying that as a cop-out, it's just that there are so many games that I have played that have just completely blown me away, that have carried me through that entire span of time. So, if I had to put, and again, as we have a slight rumbling here. That's not a good sound. Now, I will admit, it is very, very possible that given the accolades and the pedigree that Final Fantasy VI has, by the time I'm done playing it, it could very easily go on my Rushmore. But if I had to choose 4 games right now that I think are still my absolute favorite of all time, they would go, and in no particular order, okay? I would say still it would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which I know is a more modern game, but I have played that thing to death. And what would be the 4th one? The 4th one is always the hardest one. This may be controversial, it may not be, but because I haven't picked a classic 2D role-playing game, I wouldn't pick a Final Fantasy game. I would pick Suikoden 2. Which is a PlayStation 2 game, or PlayStation 1 game, I should say. And it is one of the more understated games that I remember playing. It didn't sell a lot of copies, and it really flew under the radar, but it was also one of the first games that I remember seeing that when you started getting companies like GameStop and whatnot, they started marketing, or they started selling copies of that game for way more than you'd think. Like, I remember back in the day, it was going for, to get a copy of Suikoden 2, you needed to have, it was usually going, you could find a copy online if you were lucky for $125. I think that's gone down now that it's available in the PlayStation Store to download. But still, the idea that you could have it going for that much was one where, when I bought it, I was thinking, okay. And it's a great game. You know, I got it when it first came out. Okay, so now we're learning that what her seal sword technique can do. So she'll draw all magic towards herself. Well, no time to use it like the present. Okay, so Seal Sword looks like it will help recuperate her. Oh. Ouch. Well, we may have a problem because I didn't put the star pendants back on these guys. But now you get to see what a Phoenix Down can do, because I need to have lock back. And that's why these are so valuable. Now, hopefully this will not take him out. Ah! We may have a problem here. Oh, we are toast. So we are actually going to have to start this over. That's a first. Alright, well, lesson learned. Except we don't have any more star pendants to give. That's a problem. That's a big problem, because if we're at risk of getting poisoned, then I wonder if we're going to be able to find a way to get to the accessory shop so we can get one. Because we desperately need them. Now let's come back around and open up the clock. But yes, to finish answering the question, the 4 games I would go with right now on my Rushmore would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Metal Gear Solid, Suikoden 2, and The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Alright, get rid of these hounds. Man, these things do hit like a truck. But Celes leveled up, and she's also learned a different spell. Whoops. Alright, we gotta take this commander out. And we got more hounds. Oh! Don't bite her. Okay, now I gotta heal up. Lock. Okay, and once again, I need to give her... There we go. Give her the shield and the greatsword. That way she can hit a little bit more. Ooh, we're stuck in a pincer attack. This is not good. But now that she's got a shield, in theory that should help out a little bit more. Alright. How are we doing on Gil? Okay, we're over 3,000. So if we can get to the accessory store and get a few more pendants, then going through the cave again should be a lot easier, because then we don't have to worry about getting poisoned. What I might need to do is I might need to get the I believe it's the shoes that gives lock haste again, because we gave that to mash the monk. Seriously? We take 2 steps and it's another attack. Man, these guys are being merciless today. Ow! Stupid puppy. Down. And I think we're going to need to get more potions, because we are chewing through these. Alright, take this dog out. Yeah, they're not escaping anymore. They're just coming straight at us. Sit down, pup. Now I wonder if we can... Ah! Call off the hounds! Now I wonder if there's a way I can get up those. There are. I think. Well, I'm down here somewhere. Huh. Really? All right. Jerk. So there isn't a way to get up those stairs. Okay, we are back where we started. And I wonder if I can take that guy out, because if I can, then I should be able to get over to the accessory shop and get the stuff we need to get out of here. So I'm going to take my chances with this guy. But he's not going to let us, because he blocks the road. But I wonder if I can get... There's got to be a way to come up those stairs. Instead, we have to deal with more hounds. Alright, I hope you just rather escape there. So it looks like we can only find them by twos, then they'll escape. Alright, well, since we can leave this way, but when we come back in, if I remember right, there's a way around. Yeah, so there's no other way in. So we would have to take our chances going up against that power armor and that guard. Which means we are fairly hosed going into the cave. And we are at a half an hour. So, what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to item up lock here. And then we're going to save it. And we're going to call this one good. So in the next episode, I guess we're going to take our chances in South Figaro Cave. And against that big, ugly digger and see if we can get through it without getting poisoned, without getting annihilated, and if so, what awaits us on the other side. So in the meantime, be sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe channel, or hit subscribe to the channel if you are new. I promise I can talk even though it's a Friday. And ring the bell for the latest notifications, and if there's any games you would like to see us play across the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below. As always, I am Ronin. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you later this afternoon for the next episode in our Final Fantasy walkthrough, and then be sure to check out our Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday features this weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.